7.5 months I was gone. It was the toughest thing I ever had to do in my life, I'm telling you. Because, you know, having kids, and there's a lot of single parents over there now. You know, they say, how do you leave your kids? They say, well, how do you leave yours? Until you feel it, you don't know what it's like. I was on R&R from Iraq. I was gonna go home for 15 days. I picked the date so I could be home for Zachary's birthday on the 15th. I seen Brad, he was sitting there. And the woman said, welcome on a military flight, and about 4 or 5 people clapped out of probably 75 people. So, you know, I started talking with Brad. And he was real interested in the military. I told him that I was heading home on R&R and we were going to Great Wolf Lodge because it was my 9-year-old's birthday. He was looking through a finance book. And he said, yeah, he's learning how to do finance. And I kind of looked at him, I didn't say a whole bunch, you know. I said, okay. He said, do you mind signing my book so I can send you a card? And he opened the book up and I wrote my address in the back. So I figured, you know, I really didn't think nothing about it, I'm gonna be honest with you. When we landed in Columbia, so he got off the plane, and that's when I seen, you know, my little one. I ain't seen him but 5 days. He was born September 1st, I flew September 7th.
When my husband walked off the plane, there's no words to describe relief that he was safe, and just the joy of seeing my kids look at their dad. He started to walk off and Brad looked at me and he said, thank you for your service. I was very amazed because it's always an honor to have somebody to tell me, you know, thank you for my husband's service, because I'm proud of him, and I'm honored that people are proud of him also.
That Friday we went to Great Wolf. We got here and, you know, 9-year-old, he was so excited, you know, he loves to come here. So I go up and get in line, and we owed a pretty good balance. I think it was 4 days. So I go up there, tell him my name, and he says, Mr. Glasscock, you have a message on your account. He said, from Brad. I said, I don't know no Brad. And he said, Brad said have a good time from Atlanta. When he said that, it clicked. I said, oh, Brad, oh yeah, sounds good. So I get the fella a credit card, and he says, he starts going through the thing, and he says, okay, Mr. Glasscock, it's paid in full. I said, it's paid in full by who? He said, Brad. I said, well, who? He said, Brad, and he said his name.
He says, guess what, babe? And I said, what? He said, Brad paid for a trip. I said, Brad? I said, who's Brad? He said, that's the guy I met in Atlanta. And I said, no. He said, yes. And I said, speechless. I mean, you know, for somebody to do that for us is just unreal. We feel we're blessed, but for somebody to go out of their way to, you know, fill our dreams to pay the rest of our trip was awesome.
It was amazing. It blew my mind, I'm gonna tell you right now. It takes a lot to get me, and it got me.
It's nice to know that people other than military look at us and say, hey, you know, we appreciate what you do. Because to sit there every night and you make your silent prayer to the Lord and you say, please bring my husband home in one piece, it's, you know, it's hard to wonder if he's going to make it through and if you're going to be okay. When you give to others, it makes you happy inside. One person at a time, it's all it takes. And that's what I believe, one person at a time. So I say thank you to Brad, because he's our one person.